Yo, what's good, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs?
Here we go.
In the words of our brother Zeke, who is out again today, sending him love. Shout out to our big brother Zeke.
Shout out to my boy.
Can't wait to have you
Big
back
Zeke.
in that seat. We miss your humor. That's
Not
for sure.
really.
Kesey, I think, is still holding some personal things in there, but
Always.
that's okay, man. We're excited to get you back next week. Yo, it's your boy Dre. I'm here with my big brother Keith. What's going on, family?
What's
How
going
you
on,
doing?
good people? Welcome to 94 feet again.
Oh, 94 feet is in the building, and the playoffs are upon us.
Here we go.
The NBA playoffs are here, man. How was your week, brother?
It was good. Pretty good. You know, put a little damper on my weekend yesterday, but hey.
Yeah? Why?
You know how they are. These people that are trying to steal vehicles.
Oh, no. Were you a victim of a almost car theft?
Victim of almost car theft.
Oh, man. Good old Milwaukee.
After
Good old Milwaukee, man.
Pay
Good old
for a
Milwaukee.
couple broken windows. That's about it. But hey,
Hey.
God is good, and
God, always, all the time.
and He makes sure it is always taken care of.
Yes. He made a way. So what's good, 94 Feet Nation? It's your boy Dre, my brother Keith, as we introduced us earlier. For those that are watching us on Facebook Live, our big brother Zeke, who's normally here, is not in the building today, but he'll be back next week. And we are about to start talking about ring chasing. But before we start talking about ring chasing, there's a lot of rumors in the basketball world right now. Let's talk about word on the street that the Los Angeles Clippers tanked to avoid playing the Lakers, meaning they lost those 2 games at the end of the season. Remember that? I think they lost like maybe 2 straight. And a lot of people say that they did that to avoid playing the Lakers in the first round. What are your thoughts on that? And do you actually believe that the Los Angeles Clippers are running scared from the Lakers?
So they lost to the Thunder as the final game of the season.
Mm-hmm. And then they lost another one right before that, right?
Which was the Rockets, which is 2 teams I know they should have beat. Especially the Rockets.
Especially the Rockets. What was the scores?
The Rockets beat them 122 to 115.
That's not a terrible loss.
You let the Rockets score 122 people, and you can't name nobody on their roster right now. I guarantee you. Go.
Well, Christian Wood. Christian Wood is on the Rockets.
Man, he been out for 70 games. He's just his first 2 games back.
John Wall is on the Rockets. I mean, you tested me, so
But John Wall is out too. He had a season-ending injury
after
he already missed 32 games.
Yes, they both are out. And so they lost that game, which they should have won, as you mentioned, okay? And then they lost to the Thunder, right? What was the score to that game?
112 to 117.
Okay, so my question is, do you think they tanked? Did this team tank to avoid playing the Los Angeles Lakers? Yes or no?
I mean, wouldn't you be scared of the Lakers?
Not at all. Not at all, because if we knew that the Lakers were going to play in the play-in tournament, which they did, and they should have lost to my man Steph Curry, who should be the MVP.
Here we go.
He should be the MVP.
Here we go. Reel him in.
He should be the MVP. Okay? He's not going to win it, which we'll talk about maybe later. But if you knew the Lakers had a chance of playing the Warriors, what are you afraid of? I don't know. I guess for me, in the landscape of basketball, if I want to be the best, I want to beat the best. So the Clippers talk about how there's a new sheriff in town. There are new kings of Los Angeles. And the only way to become the new kings of Los Angeles is to dethrone the king, King James, and the Los Angeles Lakers. So I don't know that the Clippers tanked. I don't know that the Clippers purposely lost those games, but I don't think there was anything to be afraid of playing LeBron and the Lakers.
But you got to think of it like this. Name us another 7-seed team as good as the Lakers in history.
I mean, that would require us to look up who was 7 seed. I don't know all that off the top of my head.
Just think about in recent years. 7 seeds don't have really good numbers. I mean, good records. So if you thinking you the Clippers, and I got to accidentally play the Lakers first round, that means I might be one and done again 2 seasons in a row. So what does that mean? That's a bust right there. That means that whole roster got to be busted open.
So you're saying that the Clippers did it on purpose? So
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, I don't have the evidence to prove it, but I strongly believe they would.
You know, and we're going to talk about the NBA matchups coming up in a few moments anyway, but it doesn't look like the Clippers even got the best of both worlds, because they were looking a little challenged yesterday. Paul George in the first quarter, especially up against Dallas, but we'll talk about that as we move along. So again, we're talking about the Clippers, the fact that they tanked their last 2 games to avoid playing the Lakers. I don't believe it, but who am I? You know, we can believe what we want to believe. That's the beauty of sports talk. That's the beauty of sports gossip, is that people say things that they want.
But just think about it like this. Would you want to play LeBron first round? Someone who has not lost a first round series in 18 seasons.
Isn't he 14-0? Is it 13 or 14-0? Something like that.
It's like 13 or 14-0 in the first round.
Yeah, he has never lost in the first round, and you're right.
So, would you want to be the Clippers and meet the Lakers first round?
If I want to be known as the true champions and kings of LA, yes, I want to beat LeBron. I don't want...
Of course, you want to beat LeBron. Everybody wants to beat LeBron. But knowing your roster and the team that you have, are you confident enough that you can beat LeBron in the first round? And he has not lost a first round?
Well, remember, everybody was talking about how great the Clippers are going to be with playoff Rondo. Let's not act like we weren't acting like he was the second coming of MJ or Kobe, because playoff Rondo, you got Kawhi Leonard, a two-way player, a lockdown defender, an offensive threat, and everyone was talking about, Paul George, he's starting to feel himself. He's going to come through in the playoffs. So if you have all these pieces, no one wants to play Pat Beverly. Remember, we talked, I never said that because I don't believe the hype. He's a good defender.
I've never said any of those things that you just said. Remember, I never said that. Because I'm going to tell you like this. Playoff Rondo was great because he had another great mind right next to him. Mm-hmm. Him and LeBron have 2 basketball IQs that are off the map. So by you having 2 players that have off the map IQs, that's what made them gel so good and play so efficient when they did play. Who on the Clippers has that IQ that LeBron has to match his IQ? Because I see a lot of stupid shots shot by the Clippers sometimes.
I don't disagree with you, but all I'm saying is if the Clippers want to ever be the true kings of LA, they'll have to dethrone the Lakers. If the Lakers lose any round this year and they don't get to play the Clippers, and the Clippers can't beat the Lakers in the playoffs, even if the Clippers go on to win a championship, I don't know that I can call them the kings of LA without beating the Lakers in the playoffs. That's just my opinion.
But at the end of the day, when you get a ring, you get a ring, right?
Well, I mean, that's what KD said. So,
and that's what they want. They want the ring, but
nobody
wants to have to go through LeBron to get their ring because they know it's going to be a test of all abilities.
As it should be. I mean, no one should. The idea of super teams to win championships, as you know, annoys me. It annoys me. No one should be handed the title. Like Golden State, it was too easy for them. It was too easy for them. The year that Kyrie and Kevin Love went down with Cleveland, that was easy for them. The year that they added Kevin Durant, that was easy for them. The year that Kevin Durant got injured, it should have been easy for them, but it wasn't.
But the year it wasn't easy for them is when they lost to LeBron. They knew if LeBron has a healthy roster, it's tough to beat him.
I don't disagree with that.
Very tough. If LeBron has a healthy roster and some capable players, he's tough to beat because he makes a whole team better.
That he does.
Nobody else in the league you can throw on any team and say they contenders besides LeBron. Because I don't even say you can do that to KD now. At first I thought maybe, but now I'm thinking not.
Well, keep watching.
Because he keeps jumping ship.
He keeps jumping ship and he'll probably leave again. But that's another story. I mean, right now, Golden State's looking good again. Phoenix is looking good again. So, you know.
Who knows where he might go next?
Who knows where he'll land next?
He might try to join LeBron one day.
So, earlier this week, it was announced or leaked that LeBron James violated the NBA safety and COVID protocols because he went to an event supposedly with Drake. I don't have all the details. I didn't look up how many people were there. But apparently he violated the NBA protocol. And usually the NBA investigates things thoroughly, right? We've heard about James Harden. We've heard about my man's Super Six Man went to Atlanta, Lou Williams, right? We've heard about players breaking NBA safety protocols many times, right? And usually the NBA takes some days or some weeks to investigate, and there's penalties, there's consequences, there's fines, there's suspensions, right? Yeah. So LeBron James, this story leaked, I want to say on Thursday or Friday, and the NBA came out yesterday and said LeBron James will face no consequences as a result of violating the NBA COVID-19 protocols. First of all, are we surprised? And what kind of message is the NBA sending to its players when one player can get away with things that other players cannot?
Well, I mean, he is the face of the league. That's all I'm going to say about that. No, I'm kidding. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to look at how many players are in the league and how many people are they actually around on a daily. Because all of them have entourages, just about. All of them have family members. Do you think everybody is following the protocols?
I mean,
come on now, be real.
If you're not following them, at least follow them in person, right? At least try to sneak around it. Don't be blatant and just do you or do what you want to do so the whole world can see it.
But this no mask thing is everybody thinks it's the norm now again when we haven't even fully made it through the pandemic. So, hey, people are doing what they want to do.
The pandemic is nearly over in the eyes of many, right?
So they think it's over, but hey, to each in his own. Hey.
So for me, obviously we agree that LeBron James is the face of the NBA. Everybody knows that. He has been for years. He's the star player. He's the marquee player. Everyone knows that, right? But the NBA had a tough decision. I think about Michael Jordan years back when he was playing against the Indiana Pacers. YouTube it, NBA fans. And Michael Jordan was the reason people went to go see basketball games, right? He was the reason. Whether you were a Bucks fan, a Lakers fan, those Jordan eras, you were all about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan and Reggie Miller got into a disagreement in that game. And Michael Jordan was ejected. Do you remember that? For a hot second.
That must have been a rare game because I've never seen Michael Jordan get ejected.
Check out the YouTube clip. Michael Jordan was ejected and brought back in the game for something that he initiated, in my opinion. I'm the biggest MJ fan that you probably know. But MJ initiated this drama with Reggie Miller, and they ejected Reggie and brought Michael back. And all you could hear is the commentators say, well, we know Michael Jordan's the popular one and people pay their money to see Michael Jordan. We know all that. So I'm going to use that same argument about LeBron James. No one wants the playoffs without LeBron James. 2 years ago, when the Lakers sat out the playoffs because LeBron got injured, the NBA playoffs were not the same without LeBron James. So the NBA had to do something. They did. They didn't suspend him. We don't know if they're going to fine him. We don't know if he's even going to be brought in the room and say, do better. The NBA responded like, LeBron, this is your league. Do what you want to do. Do as you please. But next time, be a little bit quiet about it. That's how the NBA responded, in my opinion.
But from what I've heard in reports, they are saying that everybody who attended the event had to be vaccinated.
But LeBron's not vaccinated.
And they had to show proof of a negative test.
But LeBron's not vaccinated, according to reports. He said, I believe...
No, he has never confirmed that he is or is not.
There were reports released, and they said LeBron is not vaccinated.
You don't know that.
I don't know that, but I'm just telling you what the reports say. It's his prerogative of what
Trump
he
said he wasn't vaccinated, but ain't he?
We are not going to talk about
politics.
politics.
I'm just saying.
Especially that.
I'm not talking about politics. I'm just saying we're talking about vaccines.
45. Why you had to bring him up? Now I'm depressed. No, seriously, though, whether he is or isn't is beyond the question. The question is that he broke NBA protocol, and is the NBA setting a double standard? Obviously, the easy answer is yes. The NBA is setting a double standard by not punishing LeBron, but how do you punish someone in the playoffs? That's similar to how Draymond Green kicked LeBron in the jewels, and LeBron oversold it like LeBron tends to do. Now, I am a LeBron fan, as you know.
No, you're not.
I'm a huge LeBron fan.
You are a Steph Curry fan.
I can't be both?
No.
I can't be both?
You're not.
Stop.
It's impossible for you.
Stop it. Let me finish.
And I'm going to get to why you're not in a minute. Well, we'll get back to that.
Let me finish. When LeBron was kicked in his jewels by Draymond Green in the playoffs a couple years ago, and he oversold, and it cost Draymond his what? What is it? His whatever technical foul number it was, and it suspended him a game. Everybody says that changed the series for Golden State. So LeBron has been the golden child of the NBA. We know it. He tends to overact. He's the GOAT. He's the second best player behind Michael Jordan, in my opinion. But the NBA, once again, has shown why they tend to coddle LeBron and give him a pass by not penalizing him. I don't want him penalized because it's the playoffs.
But that's what everybody in the world is looking for. Everybody who doesn't like LeBron wants you to penalize him for every little thing. But there are players who are doing way more than LeBron is doing and are getting away with it. But hey, you don't hear about it in the news because guess what? Their name isn't LeBron James.
You know,
everything he does is scrutinized. Even his whole career. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you go to his big shot a couple of games ago, I've heard nothing but negativity since he made this shot.
You talk about the eye poke?
Yeah.
Or you mean the eye poke that he also over-dramatized, right?
The three he hit.
That was a big shot. It was a lucky shot.
You mothers.
Chill out, man. We got the faith community watching, man.
I'm kidding,
Chill out, man.
But how do y'all consider that lucky? When Steph Curry does it and does a cartwheel behind it, it's okay.
Steph Curry.
It wasn't luck. Steph Curry can throw a behind-the-back shot and make it, and it's not a lucky shot.
Listen.
LeBron stood straight up like it was a normal shot and knocked it down all net. How can it be lucky?
Because he does that once every blue moon.
But if you ever watch the pre-games and if you ever watch his shoot-arounds, he's taking those shots consistently.
Mm-hmm.
So what makes you think he can't hit it in the game? Or what about the when he did the what was it? He did like a turnaround three or something, fadeaway three. That's luck. That was luck.
Listen, all I'm gonna say is it was I'm not gonna call it luck. Let me correct myself because I know how you like to get in your feelings about.
I ain't
LeBron.
in my feelings, but
you
I
in
want.
Your feelings.
I want no.
You in your feelings.
But I bet if your boy Stephen Curry hit it, I bet you wouldn't say it was lucky.
You in your feelings because Steph does that on a normal, consistent basis. Him hitting big shots.
A lot of his shots look lucky. If you look at some of them, I'm just saying. I'm not saying he's a lucky shooter, but I'm saying on a regular basis he takes some threes that you be like, "Woo, that was lucky."
Listen, I have never.
But nobody calls. But nobody calls him lucky though, right?
I've never once ever said Steph Curry has taken a lucky shot.
Listen to what you just said.
I have never once said that.
Listen to what you just said.
I have never once said that.
Listen to what you just said.
I know what I said. I'm the one that said it. Steph Curry shots because he's a 3-point shooter. He is the best shooter that the game has ever seen.
And LeBron is the best athlete the game has. One of the best athletes the game has seen. But at the same time, why does his have to be lucky?
Listen, bro. For the sake of time.
What about the game winner he hit? maybe his third season in the playoffs.
LeBron has hit many game winners against the Bulls and Derrick Rose in the playoffs a couple years ago when they were playing. We know LeBron can get the big shots.
So why is it lucky then? If you know he can hit the big shots, why have you in America called it lucky?
Because it was a bad shot that happened to go in.
It was not a bad shot.
It was a terrible shot.
It was a shot he had to take.
And I'm glad he came in the clutch. LeBron James is clutch.
The only reason you're calling it lucky is because he was playing your homeboy, Steph Curry. Because if he'd hit it on Draymond Green, you probably wouldn't even call it lucky.
If he would have hit it on Draymond Green, it would have been because of a lack of defense, because we know Draymond can lock people up too. Not that he would lock up LeBron. Let's just agree to disagree. It was a great shot. LeBron is coddled by the NBA. Would you agree or disagree with that?
I don't think he's coddled by the NBA.
He gets most calls on the court.
He gets fouled more than anybody else in the league.
Well, because he acts. He overacts when he's touched.
He doesn't overact.
Bruh, touch me and I'll show you what. Just do like that.
No, I'm not.
Act like I'm holding you. The TV's watching.
I don't want to touch you.
The world's watching. Hey, I'm vaccinated.
I don't want to touch you. We got our social distance going on, as you can see, guys.
Yeah, we
want to keep it that way.
We got our mask, right?
I mean, you don't need no mask on here. I'll punch you in the eye.
See the hate? So, if LeBron was holding you and you did like that, he's going to overact and respond. But so do many other players. And it got him what he needed. He got the foul.
If you look at that play, he could have really been hurt.
Oh, the poke in the eye was a true poke in the eye, but he added some extra.
No, you look at the landing. You fail to realize LeBron James is 265 pounds. That's a lot to be taken in the air like he was taken in the air and be hit in the face and knocked off balance.
Listen. There is no doubt that LeBron is great. The bottom line is the NBA has coddled him.
No, they coddled your homeboy.
Listen, who? MJ? Steph?
You know who I'm talking about.
I don't. But anyway.
The ones you got the posters of, the plaques of.
No, I don't have posters.
You got the cologne of.
I don't have the Jordan cologne suck.
You got the shoes.
I have
you got the sweaters. You got the shirts.
What?
I'm just saying.
Listen here, America. The bottom line is LeBron
You got the Michael Jordan glasses in the house.
I had LASIK. I don't even wear glasses. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's just talk about this. LeBron violated the consequence. He violated the protocol. He faces no consequences. I believe he shouldn't, because the playoffs without LeBron are boring.
But also, we are on a different stage now compared to when Wing Lou went to get some wings to now. You know what I mean? We have an actual vaccine out.
Yeah.
And a lot of this transmission has changed. I don't think it's transmitting the way people thought it was transmitting now compared to back then. You know what I mean?
I mean, again, everything in America is so politicized now that, yeah, another story for another day. So LeBron didn't face consequences. Is it a double standard? Yes or no?
It's not a double standard. Let's move on.
It's not a double standard. All right.
LeBron James. Yeah.
NBA playoff matchups, team by team. Obviously, the playoffs are here, and we are recording this episode on a Sunday. So depending on when you listen to this, our predictions may be way off. Games may have been played, won, or lost, depending on how we predict. The NBA playoffs are here, and they started with a bang. I watched all 4 games yesterday. I was very excited to see the games. The home team played yesterday. The games are on now.
Shout out to the Bucks.
I'll be at the game tomorrow.
Good close win, but we did get the W.
I'll be at the game tomorrow reporting live. Make sure you follow us on 94 Feet Podcast on Twitter and the Gram. I'll be tweeting the entire game, so make sure you check us out. I will be there live and in person. Again, let's talk about the NBA playoff matchups, okay? We are now entering ring chasing, right? We are chasing the ring. ring chasing, NBA playoffs. So the first matchup, let's talk about the number 1 seed in the NBA, the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Washington Wizards will play or are playing each other in the first round. And from what we know, the Wizards have already lost a game. They lost today 125 to 118 over the Washington Wizards. Russie stepped out of bounds, which was a costly play. The Wizards were in the game for most of the game, but what are your thoughts on the matchup? Who do you have winning, and what do you hope to see, and what are the numbers?
I mean, I know the Washington Wizards probably won't beat the Sixers, but I'm guaranteeing that it's going to be a tough series for Philly. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, Russell enough is a tough series for somebody because that man, it goes 100 all game. But like you said, it might not be enough to beat Philly, especially with Ben Simmons getting almost a triple-double. Mm-hmm. And also, Russell wasn't the Russell today, from what I've seen.
I mean, Russell had 16 points, 14 assists. That's a double-double. He didn't get a triple. Bradley Beal had 33 and 10. He had a double-double. Over on the Philly side, Philly had more round players. Tobias Harris was balling from the start of the game. Tobias had 37 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists.
And
Joel Embiid put up 30 points and 6 rebounds.
I said, and tomorrow he'll have 6. So don't talk about Tobias.
Steph Curry had 15 points, 4 rebounds. Ben Simmons had...
Steph Curry or Seth?
Seth Curry.
Because you said Steph.
I said Seth.
You said Steph.
Ben Simmons did not put up a scoring clinic, but he had 15 assists and 15 rebounds. Those are crazy
But he only scores 6 points. How can you be the number 2 player on that team and you got 6 points?
15 rebounds and 15 assists.
I could score 6 points in the NBA game.
But can you get 15 rebounds and 15 assists? That's a double-double without the points.
I can get 6 points.
You
15
can't
assists.
Get no 15 nothing. Shut up. So let's
see how you do me, America. You see how you do me. You just told me shut up right away.
The matchup. Do you like the matchup?
I like this matchup. It gives Philly a good challenge to start the playoffs and let them know that they can't relax. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Compared to if they got somebody that they knew they was going to automatically beat. Because if they don't play hard, Washington will beat them. And that's a guarantee.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
Because Bradley Beal is a problem, man, if you don't play him hard.
He is a problem.
And if you play him laxy daisy, before you know it, he'll have 40 on you, and you'll have an L. And that's how I see Washington. If Philly takes a night off, they will get beat by Washington that night.
So here's why I'm going to disagree with you briefly. I like the matchup, but I don't believe there are enough players on Washington that can step up if Bradley or Russie have an off night. I don't believe that there are enough players that can step up and drop 30. The next closest to Russie's points were Gafford. He had 12, and Davis Bertans had 14, right? So there's not a whole lot of people that are scoring. I mean, you look at it, Alex Len had 3 points in 16 minutes. Raul Neto had 7 in 22 minutes. Smith had 6 in 22 and a half minutes. You have to be better than just depending on Beal and Russie to put up points for you and to do things. Hold up. No. You had a long spill.
I know, but hold on 1 second though. You talking about they might not have enough. 118 points is a lot of points to put up with some players that.
That's true. That is,
and some of them.
That is.
Them are not no high numbers. Everybody got 12, 14, 16.
So what I'm saying is, if Bill takes a night off and doesn't score 33 and he scores 13 or 20, someone has to be there to make up for that. If you look at the field goal percentages of this team, it's not terrible, But you got guys shooting 33%, right? Russie only shot 41% from the field goal range this game, right? You can't do that and beat the stud. Right now, Philly are feeling themselves, okay? Joel will not win MVP likely, so he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. They lost to the Raptors, and every year they've been getting shortchanged. And so Philly right now, in my opinion, has something to prove. I don't believe that the Wizards will beat them, but I do believe that this is a series that can go for the long haul.
And that's all I was saying. That's all I was saying. Philly will beat them, but Russie and Beal will make them go the 6 or 7 games.
Okay, so I got Philly 4-2. I got it as a 6-game series. What you got?
I got the same thing.
4-6. All right, with Philly as the winners?
Philly as the winner.
All right, moving on. The next matchup in the Eastern Conference, the Brooklyn Nets at number 2 versus the Boston Celtics at number 7. And that is also a game that has already been played with the Nets winning 104-93. However, if you watch that game in the beginning, you would assume that the Nets were in trouble because Boston was clicking in the very beginning of that game. They had it all together. I promise you they did. And all that happened was the Nets started gelling and started playing differently. What I'll say about this game, I'm going to preface my statement. What I saw yesterday, I saw KD playing for KD. I saw James Harden playing for James Harden. I saw Kyrie Irving playing for Kyrie, and then it was everybody else. It did not look like a team effort yesterday.
So you're saying they basically won off their natural talents?
They won off their natural talents. But if you think about it, 104 points for Brooklyn when you have KD and James Harden is not a lot. It is not a lot. And KD played almost 40 minutes. And he put up 32 points, 12 rebounds. So KD was KD. Those are impressive numbers to me.
That's KD.
That's a double-double.
But
Kyrie put up...
But hold on. The key thing you did say, though, is you saw that they looked like they were playing for themselves. Look at their assists for the game. Kevin Durant, 1 assist. Joe Harris, 0 assists. Blake Griffin, 4 assists.
And he started.
And 1 point.
1 point. But he's old school Blake.
I never said that.
You didn't, but go ahead.
Because I said they not getting the Blake they think they getting.
No, they're not. Go ahead. Go back through the assists.
Kyrie Irving, 1 assist.
As a point guard.
James Harden, 8 assists.
Which is crazy.
He averages like 12 or 13 assists, don't he?
I don't know. We won't fact check each other on that.
I don't need any fact checking. I'm just summing it up.
Yeah.
He usually get about 12, 13 assists a game.
Okay.
When he's actually doing what he do.
Go ahead.
Next, Jeff Green, 3 assists. Bruce Brown, 0 assists. Landry Shampert, 0 assists.
And they had, 6 players that didn't touch the ball at all. They were out the game. So, what I'm going to say, this, in my opinion, will be an easy, hard-fought victory for the Nets. I have the Nets sweeping Boston 4-0. I don't believe Boston will win a game because if you couldn't win yesterday when the Nets weren't even a great basketball team, the Nets were a very mediocre team. Hold on, let me finish. No. Stop.
Go ahead.
Yesterday, the Nets were a very mediocre team. They were not the team that everyone's been talking about for a guaranteed win. The Nets only put up 104 when they could probably easily put up 130, 125, 120. So I actually have the Nets sweeping Boston 4-0. And I hate that it has to be that way because I like Jay Tatum.
But at the end of the day,
they're not ready.
They still put up almost 30 apiece.
Exactly.
So imagine,
except for Kyrie.
But hold on, check this out. Mm-hmm. Imagine they do what they did last night, and they shooting horrific, like they shooting terrible.
Lights out. Right.
You can't beat them, outscore them, and beat them.
No.
But if they're having a bad night and they're playing the way they're playing as a unit, you can beat them.
Okay. So what you got? Do you think Boston wins a game?
I'm gonna go Brooklyn 4-2.
4-2. So you got Boston squeezing out 2 games.
I think they can squeeze out 2 games here and there.
Okay. I have as I mentioned, I have Brooklyn sweeping the Boston Celtics. I hate to say that, but I don't see it happening. Because if they couldn't pull it off yesterday, and they should have, wait till Harden puts up 40 points. Wait till Kyrie puts up 30 points.
He did put up 30.
Who?
Kyrie.
Kyrie had 16, I thought. Double check that. Are you sure?
He had 29.
Did he have 29? Are you sure?
Yep. KD had 32.
Okay.
Kyrie had 29, and Harden had 21.
Okay, so I stand corrected. But still, Harden wasn't Harden. Harden still looks a little rusty, in my opinion. He looks a little rusty from an injury, not as a bad player, as an injury. I am sticking by my prediction of a sweep.
So do you think they'll be in the finals?
We're not there yet.
I'm just saying.
We're not there yet. That's coming up. No, that's coming up later in the show.
Thinking how they playing like that, do you think they'll make it to the finals?
Let's wait until we go there. I don't want to, because that's going to throw off the matchup prediction.
All right.
Okay. I got Brooklyn. Bro has Brooklyn. We just have different ways that they're going to win. All right. The next one, our Milwaukee Bucks. Let's go Milwaukee. Let's go Greek Freak, who was snubbed for top 3 awards. We'll talk about that later, though. Okay. The Bucks at 3 play the Miami Heat at number 6. First of all, kids, it is important. Make your free throws. Make your free throws. I believe Giannis missed 13 free throws yesterday. Is that accurate? It was around 11.
Around 11, 12.
11, 12. He missed a lot of free throws yesterday. And those, in my opinion, could have been points on the board. All right? The Milwaukee Bucks, I'm a big fan, longtime season ticket holder, will be at the game tomorrow, reporting live, 94 Feet Podcast. Follow us. The Bucks have better not play these games with the Miami Heat. Okay? They better not, because what I saw yesterday, to me, looked like a continuation from the bubble. And Jimmy Butler was not Jimmy Butler yesterday. Jimmy Butler had a rough game, but he had big moments in the game.
But that's normally how his games go, though.
Mm-hmm.
He's not really like that type of player that just awes you all game, but he's that type of player that awes you at the right moments to get you over those humps.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I feel. If the Bucks are going to beat Miami, they are going to have to be a lot more defensively sound on players that shouldn't be having 24. Duncan Robinson.
They had Duncan Robinson looking
Gordon
like
Dragic.
a young Dan Marley. They let that dude shoot whatever he wants. Not a hand in his face. Nobody's playing defense on him. And he had his way against the Bucks yesterday. Go ahead.
Him and Gordon. Well, Gordon Dragic always have career nights on the Bucks, though.
Yeah.
If you go back and look at his games against the Bucks, he always, I don't know, he has something against the Bucks that he wants to put on his show.
Duncan Robinson scored 7 3-pointers. He made 7.
Do you think he'll do that another game? Because if you look at that,
but he attempted 13.
But if you look at that, what's the chances of him having another night like that again this series?
I guess we'll see. He's in the starting lineup now. He got more time than Kyle Hero, who still put up
Kyle
points.
Hero or Tyler Hero?
Tyler Hero, thank you. He still put up points. He still put up a lot of points. So here's what I'm saying.
But Dragic had 25 off the bench.
Off the bench, and nobody could hold him. Nobody could hold him. They had Dragic looking like an all-star. He hasn't been one of those.
But do you remember what I told you the last podcast?
Remind me.
I said the only team that scares me in the East is who?
The Heat.
And why?
What?
Because they have the Bucks numbers.
Well, I told you, one of these podcasts that we listened to, I said, when the announcements came, I said, I don't like it. Maybe it was in our group chat. I said, I don't like it.
You said, I don't like it.
I said, I don't like it at all. I don't like it.
First round, Miami?
And the Bucks yesterday got off. I'm going to say what I said to LeBron. The Bucks got lucky yesterday.
I'm going to tell you like this.
Because it should have been a loss.
If they didn't win that game yesterday,
it was over.
There was no chance of winning this series.
It was over. It was over.
That W gave them a fighting chance. Because now you have something to fight for. Because now you know you cannot go into the next game allowing what you allowed last game.
Chris Middleton came up big, And we need him to be consistent like that this entire series. If Chris Middleton does not go consistent, the Bucks are in trouble because Giannis, again, Chris Middleton put up 27 and 6 assists, 6 rebounds. Giannis put up 26 points, 18 rebounds, and 5 assists. Chris Middleton has to help Giannis. Brook Lopez put up points. He put up rebounds.
I see they did a pretty good job on Bam because Bam only had 8 points.
Holiday had a double-double. PJ Tucker, that is not what we brought you here for, bro. 0 points, 0 steals, 0 assists, 0 rebounds in 18 minutes. That is not why we brought you from Houston. Everybody thought that was the piece we need to win a championship. That was the piece that's going to... Wait a minute. Let me finish. To put the Bucks over the hump. PJ Tucker scored 0 points, 0 blocks, 0 steals, 0 rebounds. If the Bucks don't play better, Jeff Teague didn't play at all. If the Bucks don't play better, Miami will once again have our number, and Milwaukee will be sad because we will lose. All right. Who are you pick? Go ahead. You want to ask something else? Go ahead.
My thing is, though...
Did it die? Go ahead.
Now you made me lose my train of thought, man. Here you go.
You talk about the Bucks and the Heat, just the matchup. The matchup.
The Bucks have to... I don't even know how to even say it. They have to have a different mindset when they play in Miami because Miami is a tough matchup for us. I don't know why, but it's been a tough matchup for us for years now. And the Bucks...
Playoff Jimmy. Playoff Jimmy. Go ahead.
Jimmy who? No. Let me stop.
Jimmy
Shout out to Jimmy.
Jimmy Butler, hometown kid. Go ahead.
I lost my whole train of thought what I was going to tell you, man.
That's all right.
You interrupted me, man. See, that's what
I didn't interrupt you. I asked you about your laptop. Clearly, you're the interrupter of the group.
Anyways, I'm going Bucks.
Ooh, what you like the series count?
I'm going Bucks 4-2.
Okay. I am going Miami 4-3.
Remember this day, great people.
I hope I'm wrong. But what the Bucks showed me last night, without Jimmy being Jimmy, hold up.
But you had a Duncan being not Duncan. So
I have Miami 4-3, but I hope I'm wrong because I would like to see the Bucks in it for the long haul. But I got Miami 4-3. This is going to be a long series, I believe.
I'll tell you like this. If the Bucks get past Miami, we are finals bound for sure.
I hope you're right.
Because I don't see anybody else that can beat us in the East.
Philly, Brooklyn.
I'm not worried about Philly or Brooklyn.
Let's move on. The current matchup. The New York Knicks versus the Atlanta Hawks. That game has not been played yet. I believe that is the game that is coming up momentarily, actually. It starts this evening at 7 p.m., 6 p.m. our time, so we'll actually get to watch that. What do you think about the matchup? First of all, are we impressed? Do we like the matchup? Who you picking? I'm happy for the New York Knicks.
Listen,
Zeke, big brother Zeke, in his absence, he was on that Knicks bandwagon all year. He said, do you see the Knicks? You see Julius Randle?
I was with him on that. And
I was not.
Bro was right on that one.
He was.
He was spot on with that one.
He was.
And I think the Knicks are going to beat the Hawks because the Knicks play defense all game.
Mm-hmm.
They play defense consistently. And in the playoffs, that's what wins the games, defense.
Mm-hmm. And here's another interesting fact. The Knicks beat the Hawks 3 times this season. They swept the season series. They beat them in January 113-108. They beat them in February 123-112. They beat them in April, right before all this, 137-127. So not only are the Knicks beating them, other than that first game, the Knicks are beating them in a dominant fashion.
Really?
Yeah. right here. The Knicks are beating them in a dominant fashion. So, in my opinion, this should be a good series, but I don't expect a lot from the Hawks. I don't expect a lot from the Atlanta Hawks. I got the Knicks winning 4-2. I think the Hawks can squeeze, 2 games out of them. I really, truly do. But I got the Knicks winning, in my opinion, with the most improved player, Julius Randle, who should win it.
Shout out to Julius Randle, man.
Balling.
Shout out to you, man.
Balling out of control.
That man has put the work in, and you can see it.
And you can see it. He is playing like a different player. He is playing like an NBA All-Star, and he is playing like a player that wants a max contract that the Knicks might just give him. So I got the Knicks winning it 4-2. What you got?
I got the Knicks winning 4-3.
4-3. You think that's going 7?
It's going 7. Just because I like Trae Young and I like the way he play.
I just sent that to you because that's probably a better look. So, all right. Moving over to the Western Conference. We have the Utah Jazz squaring off. The Utah Jazz are number 1, and the Memphis Grizzlies are in the 8th seed. I do not believe that is a game that has been played yet. That game will play tonight on TNT at 9:30. So we got Memphis and Utah. Utah is ranked number 1. It sounds like Donovan Mitchell is expected to play. I don't have any sources that have confirmed that. But what do we think about the Utah Jazz versus Memphis Grizzlies matchup?
I like the young Memphis Grizzlies. I'm not gonna lie. I like that young core they got with Valanciunas, but he's been balling.
Val is a killer. Val's a walking double-double.
He is a warrior when he steps on the floor, but I don't think that core is seasoned enough to beat Utah. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't think they have enough seasoning on them to beat them. And I think Utah has had a time to gel together. They've been playing together for a few years now.
Yeah.
And they have some chemistry is going to give Memphis a lot of problems to me.
Sure.
So I think I'm going to say Utah 4-1.
Okay. So Val is a killer. I always draft him in fantasy basketball. He reminds me of a young Kevin Love before Kevin Love got with LeBron. Remember, Kevin used to be 25 and 20, 25 points, 20
Dude, how long
rebounds.
has it been since Kevin Love played?
Man, Kevin Love hasn't played in a while because of injury. But anyway, Val is a baller. Morant is a killer. Morant is a killer. He is a young stud in this game. He is a superstar in the making. I like that Memphis beat the Warriors to get here because it shows that they have some fight in them. Memphis, to me, could be the team to upset the number 1 seed.
Do you think so?
Listen to me. They could be the team to upset the number 1 seed. Listen to this. This is a season record. The Jazz won all 3 games, but Utah beat Memphis 117-114. That's only a 3-point victory. Granted, Mitchell may or may not have played in these games. Utah beat them 126-110. That's a big blowout. And then they beat them 111-107. So other than one game, of course, Mitchell missed a few of these likely. It's been close. But Memphis, Memphis beat the Warriors with Steph playing at MVP caliber play. Granted, Utah's number 1, so we can't underestimate a number 1 seed.
First off, I'm going to talk about your boy.
Who?
Steffi.
Here we go.
He played a great game against them. But
and the Lakers.
We knew he was going to play a great game against the Lakers. If he don't play a great game against nobody else, he going to play a great game against LeBron.
He going to show out LeBron. He going to try to show up
He going to
LeBron.
try, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Lakers game took a lot out of those other players, and they don't have that capability that Steph has. Because if they played the way they played against the Lakers, those players for Golden State, they would have beat Memphis. Mm. But Memphis had more energy coming into that game knowing that they had to play Golden State, and they wanted to beat Golden State.
Oh yeah,
and you can see it in their play.
Yeah,
Golden State had a low energy game to me
against Memphis.
Besides
against
Steph,
Memphis, you mean, or the Lakers?
Yeah, against Memphis. Besides Steph, I think everybody else's energy was gone. Mm-hmm. LeBron took it out of him. That shot LeBron hit. That's one of those ones where they say it takes your soul.
Yeah.
That's what that shot does to you.
It took a lot out of him. And remember, there was no break. There was no break.
Exactly. You play as hard as you play that game, and you lose to a shot like that. Those are the things that coaches tell you about all the time, where it can take the soul out of your team.
Yeah.
And it took the soul out of that team.
Yeah.
And that's why they wasn't able to beat the Memphis Grizzlies. Okay. But they should have beat Memphis.
They should have beat Memphis. So I believe Memphis had the potential to upset Utah. Not going to say that they're going to. I think it'll be a close series of games, but I got Utah 4-2 ultimately. I got Utah 4-2 over Memphis.
I think 4-1.
All right.
I think Memphis might get one.
All right.
Especially if Mitchell playing.
Number two. The next one in the Western Conference. Ranked number 2, the number 2 seed, the Phoenix Suns, against number 7, the Los Angeles Lakers. And we saw most of the game today. That game just ended on Sunday. Again, depending on when you're listening to this show, that game has already happened. The Phoenix Suns defeated the Lakers 99-90. A low-scoring game. By all accounts, a low-scoring game, a Chris Paul injury scare. I almost feel like we cursed him because we always say he gets injured in the playoffs. I'm going to tell you like this, man. LeBron James has to be on a mission. LeBron has never lost in the first round. He's not lost many game ones up until when he started playing the Warriors. But the Phoenix Suns look like they are ready to play. However, Chris Paul did not seem like himself after that injury. He left the game. For those of you that didn't see the game, Chris Paul went down with a shoulder injury. He ran up against one of his own players. And it's sort of like
jammed his shoulder.
So they determined that it was shoulder contusion, which is better than a separated shoulder. It hurts better than a broken shoulder for sure, or sprained shoulder.
Broken shoulder.
Sprained shoulder.
Broken shoulder.
Sprained
really?
shoulder. Sprained shoulder. Rotator cuff, separated shoulder, whatever.
It's called a separated shoulder.
Whatever. Don't try to correct me.
There's no such thing as a broken shoulder.
Don't try to correct me. People say, I broke my shoulder. I had a separated shoulder.
Have you heard somebody say, I broke my shoulder?
Well, really?
That's you ever heard? No, I'm saying,
that's
for real. I'm not for real.
This is what we're doing?
Have you heard somebody say, I broke my shoulder?
So anyway, Chris Paul came. Chris Paul, do you want me to censor you?
No.
Okay. Chris Paul came back into the game, and he did not seem like himself. Chris Paul finished the game with 7 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds. Not Chris Paul, but they still managed to beat the Lakers, who still appear like they're trying to figure each other out. They're still trying to figure it out with that addition of Drummond. I really don't know how to vote on this one, but I want to turn it over to you because I know you're a big LeBron and Laker guy. Go ahead.
It all boils down to this, and I'm just going to say this, and I'm going to leave it at that. Anthony Davis has to play better. He cannot keep coming out and shooting 1 for 9, 2 for 9 in the first half and think they're going to be successful.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
He only scored 13 points today.
He the same thing he did in the Warriors game is shoot terrible in the first half.
Yeah.
He has to come out with better energy and better effort to start these games.
Yeah.
Or the Lakers are in trouble.
The Lakers only put up 90 points.
The Lakers are in trouble. Until Anthony Davis decides he got to do better, they are in trouble.
Kuzma scored 0 points.
I expect that out of Kuzma. That's what Kuzma does. He'll score 0 today, but tomorrow he'll put up 30.
Wes Matthews scored 2 points. The Los Angeles Lakers have a fight on their hands. And I believe it's a long fight.
7 games?
7 games.
4-3-7? Lakers?
I have the Lakers winning it 4-3, but I have this being the most competitive matchup other than the Bucks and the Heat. I believe this will be the series to watch. If Phoenix wins it, it's anybody's ball game. Because right now, the Lakers don't look like they won another championship.
They don't.
They don't look like that hungry team from the Bucks.
That energy is not there.
So,
and even in that Warriors game, it wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
They were saved by LeBron's shot.
They were saved by that very lucky shot. Yes.
So, all you Lakers, y'all better step it up, or you're going to be watching the rest of the playoffs at home soon.
Yes. Number 3 in the Western Conference, the Denver Nuggets versus the Portland Trail Blazers. That is a game that has already happened. That game happened on yesterday. And when I tell you that Dame Dollar is tired of being eliminated, he is tired of people talking about him not being elite. Dame Dollar came to play on yesterday, and the Nuggets might get swept. With the MVP, the Nuggets might get swept.
What did I tell you?
You called it.
What did I tell you?
You said nobody wants to see Dame. Dame put up 34 points.
13 assists.
13 assists in 40 minutes of gameplay. He hit 5 3-pointers. He shot 41% from the 3-point line. And Dame had a great game. Covington stepped it up big for them yesterday. I watched that game too. But what I will say, I don't want Portland to let up, because Dame can be a little inconsistent too. He'll put up big shots, but Dame can't play hard like this every night, because you're going to wear him down for the long haul. So we need other players to stay consistent. And if you look at their numbers, Powell contributed.
Carmelo had 18.
Carmelo contribute. Simmons contribute. I like what I'm seeing, and I hope we can finally see Portland go deep in the playoffs. What are your thoughts?
I think Portland is going to beat the Denver Nuggets.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I believe they have a strong defensive core. Mm-hmm. Even though they're not big, they have some tough players.
Yep.
Norman Powell is tough. A lot of people don't like Norman Powell, but Norman Powell is tough to me.
Yeah.
He doesn't wow you with the things he does, but he is outrageously tough on the defensive end, and he can hit some shots when you need him to.
He can hit some shots. He can. So, again, Portland to me has a lot to prove. I believe a premature exit from the playoffs will leave the Portland Trailblazers shopping Lillard around, because I believe he'll want to go. And also, let's not forget that their coach is on the hot seat. Terry Stotts is on the hot seat. If Portland can make a run in the playoffs, it might save his job.
But my thing is,
I
don't understand why they want to put Terry in the hot seat, because he gets them to the playoffs every year. It's not his fault that he doesn't have the roster he needs to get them over that hump. They don't never have the roster they need to get over the hump. Even this year, they don't have the roster to get it over the hump.
Yeah, but coaches are an easy target, right? It's easy to blame the coach instead of the players. But
so, what do you think Dame Dollar is going to say about that if they get rid of?
I think he's behind it.
I heard Dame and Scott and Terry Stotts have
That's for teasing me.
Have a decent relationship.
That's for teasing me, tongue tied.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever, man. I believe they have a decent relationship.
As all coaches should with their star player.
And I think if they get rid of Terry, they might end up losing Lillard at some point.
Well, I think that time is coming, because Lillard has been in the game, right, for quite some time, and eventually loyalty stops. Yeah. But eventually they stop. So I have Portland going against Denver. I got Portland 4-2.
I got Portland 4-3. I think it's going to go. I think it's going to be one of those. I think it's going to.
So you think the first round is going to be a long round for a lot of people?
This is going to be a long round for a lot of teams because it's going to be back and forth. Because, like you said, there's some days that Dame ain't going to be able to pull it off.
Yeah.
Who on that roster can pull that off for them, though? Yeah. That's the thing. If they find somebody that can pull it off, I can see them winning 4-2.
Sure.
But if not, I see Dame taking them 4-3.
But you got Portland. All right. And then finally, the Los Angeles Clippers against the Dallas Mavericks, which is another game that has already been played and another game that I think we all were surprised by, but it was a game in which the Clippers came to lose. Notice I didn't say the Dallas came to win. The Clippers came to lose.
Why do you say that?
Because the Clippers should have won.
Why do you say the Clippers should have won?
Because if you tanked to not play the Lakers just to get Dallas, and you got Luka out there looking like the second coming of Dirk Nowitzki, Luka's a baller. Luka had a triple-double yesterday, and he dominated the entire game. You forgot that the Clippers had Kawhi, PG, and playoff Rondo. You forgot because Luka was killing the entire game. And Luka's supporting cast came to play yesterday as well. So the Clippers better wake up. I'm not going to say they're in trouble yet, but if they go down 2-0, they're in trouble. They lost on their home court. Okay? They had a poster. Kawhi had a dominant poster, and all three players are looking down. But that for a loss.
One of Dallas's issue this season was consistency from the players outside of Luka. Mm-hmm. And that's what scares me about them is I don't know if the rest of the players are going to be consistent enough this series to keep them in it.
Sure.
They won that game.
Yeah.
But can they do that for 3 more games?
Right. I don't disagree with you because Kawhi's going to get it in order. He's going to get it in order.
Kawhi is going to get them 2 wins. Mm-hmm. He's going to get the Clippers 2 wins. He might have not got them that win last night, but he'll get them 2 more wins. And I think Paul George, 23, I just don't know. Like, when is he going to be that man that everybody is looking for him to be?
He shot 25% from the three-point line.
When is he going to be that guy that everybody is looking for him to be?
Yeah. Yeah. The big money man, the next superstar on the team. If the Clippers can't get it done, if the Clippers get bounced first round, the Clippers project was a bust.
Who leaves first?
Kawhi Leonard, because his contract's up anyway. He can opt out.
Do you think he'll leave?
I do.
Or do you think they'll get rid of Lou?
Well, Lou's only 1 year in. He's only 1 year in.
So what do you think they'll do? Get rid of Lou, or are they going to keep Kawhi?
Well, it's really not up to them because Kawhi can opt out. And if he opts out, he's done. Kawhi Leonard, who I think we all know has his own mind, he's the one that wanted Paul George in L.A. Let's not forget that. He's the one that pulled all the strings to make it happen. But I do see him walking away. Remember, he walked away from a team that won a championship, okay? He walked away from a team that won a title.
That makes many sense.
Okay? But
they were in Toronto, though.
They were.
And they in a higher tax bracket when it come to that money.
Well, but Los Angeles, do you see the cost of things in L.A.?
But did you see the wish list that he had to come to Los Angeles?
I do. So he's an L.A. boy, so it'll be hard to see an L.A. man. He was born and raised in L.A., Compton, I believe. So it's going to be hard to see him just walk away. But I can see Kawhi going to another team that will build around him for a title. But to your point, Dallas came out swinging. Winning game 1 changes the momentum, whether we like it or not.
It does.
I'm going to go with the Clippers. I'm going to give the Clippers a 4-2 lead, a 4-2 win over Dallas, but I think they're going to have to work hard for every single game they win.
I think 4-7.
4-3?
I mean 4-3.
You think it's going 7?
It's going 7, 4-3.
Wow. Okay.
I think Dallas, Luka enough by himself is going to get them 3 wins.
Yeah.
But if Dallas gets one more player to be consistent, and if that's Porzingis,
he needs to play better.
If it's Porzingis,
he needs to play better. He only scored 14 points. He needs to play better.
If Porzingis decides to have one or two good games,
so
the Clippers are cooked.
Think about this.
They are barbecue chicken.
Think about this. Dallas has enough money to sign one more max player. And Dallas was on Kawhi's short list. I think that was a team he took a meeting with, right? Dallas has
a team with a lot of people.
Yeah. Texas has no state taxes, right?
Oh.
And if Dallas can somehow beat this team, and you can bring in another superstar to match up, because Luka's a superstar. He'll probably win MVP in another year or two. He'll probably win MVP in another year or two.
I don't know about a year or two.
He also said he didn't care about MVP, but another story for another day because we don't have a whole lot of time. The Clippers better wake up because otherwise you'll always be playing in the shadow of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Listen, until playoff P shows up, the Clippers are going to be in this situation forever.
All right. So then let's do this. We're going to move on to our finals prediction. Okay? Who do you have coming out of the Eastern Conference? Who do you have coming out of the Western Conference? Now, obviously, sports fans, this will change with every episode as the playoffs end. So as the first round ends, we'll have new predictions based on who's left. As the second round ends, et cetera, et cetera. Who do you have coming out of the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference in the playoffs, and who are you crowning world champion?
To me, I like the Bucks out the East. And you know I like the Lakers out the West. Mm-hmm. That's who I'm going with.
Okay. So bro has the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Los Angeles Lakers in the finals.
Because the Lakers can't play any worse.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's how you got to look at it. Like, they can't play any worse.
Yeah.
So over time, they're going to get better.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's a team you don't want to play.
Who wins the championship if it's the Bucks and the Lakers? Who do you got winning? You don't got to break it down. Just tell us who you got winning.
I see the Lakers winning it.
Okay, you see the Lakers going 2-peat. Okay. I have the Brooklyn Nets and the Los Angeles Lakers. And I have the Brooklyn Nets winning. Now, obviously, there's a lot of what-ifs to this. Yeah. We'll let Sports America resonate on this. We can talk about
Good people, give us your opinions on that.
Yeah. We could talk about this next week on the predictions because we want to hear what Zeke has to say with his finals prediction. But let's talk about that. But this could be
That's going to be interesting.
It is.
Because I want to see what he got to say now.
Now that the playoffs are
Now that the playoffs are started.
Next week's episode could potentially already be looking at second round matchups depending on how this week goes. Okay?
You really could.
Depending on how this week goes. So I have Brooklyn and the Lakers, and I have Brooklyn winning it. You have the Bucks and the Lakers, and you have the Lakers winning it. Yes. Okay? And so the final thing we'll talk about quickly, real quick, is that the NBA released their finalists for awards. They released their finalists. Most valuable players, we have Joker, Steph Curry, Joel Embiid. Who do you think wins it? We gave our own predictions last week, but we're going to go based off the NBA predictions now. Who you got winning the MVP? I think Giannis was snubbed, personally, because his numbers were there, but these three guys played ball all year. Who you got winning? The NBA gave the finalists to Joker, Curry, and Embiid. Who you got winning it? Just give a name.
Joker, Embiid,
and Curry.
I'm going with Joker.
You're going with Joker?
The Joker he's put up all season consistently, and he has played more games than anybody else left. So
Agreed.
I gotta go with Joker. And if they don't give it to Joker, I think they robbed him this year.
Yeah, I would like to see Steph win it. We know he won't, but I'm going with Joker as well. They released their finalists for Defensive Player of the Year. Rudy Gobert, Ben Simmons, Draymond Green. I'm going with, last week I said Rudy Gobert, and I'm going to stick with Rudy Gobert as my choice.
I'm sticking with Ben.
Ben Simmons. All right. Rookie of the Year, LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton. This is the NBA's top three. Yes, we talked about this last week, but we gave our opinions, but now the NBA has their list out. Who do you got? Ball, Edwards, or Halliburton? Last week you said Halliburton.
I know it, people. Everybody was wondering why I said Tyrese. Got to give credit to the hometown kid. Shout out.
Yes.
But to all due respect, it has to go to LaMelo. I mean,
okay.
He is. I mean, when you look at his game, he's NBA ready to me.
Okay. I'm going with Anthony Edwards simply because he didn't miss any games. His numbers are slightly better than LaMelo Ball. 6 Man of the Year award.
He
we
got
got
the Minnesota Timberwolves.
6 Man of the Year award. The NBA released their finalists. We got Joe Ingles, Jordan Clarkson, Derrick Rose, or Joe Ingles. I'm pretty sure I butchered that. Clarkson or Derrick Rose.
Clarkson to me.
Clarkson gets it as well for Utah, especially stepping it up in the absence of Mitchell. Most improved player, your boy, Michael Porter Jr., Julius Randle, and Jeremy Grant from Detroit. I'm going with Julius Randle. Who you got?
I know I want to go with Porter, but I'm going with Randle, man. The shout out to Julius,
yep,
man.
And
he put up numbers.
Then finally, Coach of the Year, we got Tom Thibodeau, Quinn Snyder, Monty Williams. I'm going with Monty Williams because the Phoenix Suns are a totally different team. They're a totally different team. So I am going to go with Monty Williams. Who you got? Who you got?
I'm going with Monty.
All right. So we have all been here. We've talked about the season awards. We talked about the NBA playoffs. And then finally, we'll just spend like 60 seconds on this because time is running out. But we would be remiss not to talk about the Kwame Brown situation and how Up in Smoke has set this young man off. I'm watching my words carefully. He has
Listen, I don't want to be the next victim, so watch what you say, man.
I tried to skip it. You're the one that wanted to bring it up.
I just said watch what you say.
So, again, and I'll say this because I've been in media. I've been on the opposite. I've been the guy that people talked about and judged. I think we've all been in that space. There comes a time when sometimes too much is too much. And I think media, Stephen A. Smith especially, Charlamagne the God from The Breakfast Club, and everyone else has taken things way too far in this situation. I think it's been 20 years and people have dogged this man out. And at the end of the day, he's a man first. We always talk about that. We've all been ridiculed. We're probably getting ridiculed right now for people that watch. We've all been there. But when is enough enough? And I think Up in Smoke took it way too far. He responded, and he's taking numbers. He went after Matt Barnes. He went after Steven Jackson, Stephen A. Smith. He went after the lady from ESPN. Jamil. He went after Skip Bayless. And he just went after Charlamagne the God because he made it really, really personal.
And I think that's what people are missing is how long this has gone on. And nobody realized how long it's actually been. This started back in 2000.
21 years.
This started back in 2000.
21
Nobody
years.
has let up off this young man for 20 years. And then Up in Smoke decides, I'm going to keep it going with Gilbert Arenas in them in their comments. Mm-hmm. I think Kwame had enough.
He had enough. And
it was time for him to defend himself and speak up. Mm-hmm. But I think some things he might have went a little too far, though. But in all due respect, Kwame has been scrutinized for too long for something that was not necessary.
Yeah. And you know
especially Stephen A.
Yeah. You know me, this part of my life is called protecting my peace, and that's been most of my life, so I haven't watched a lot of what's said. I just read some of the things, but
I watched them all. Shout out to Kwame.
I'm glad he's sticking up for himself. He even had some things to say about Michael Jordan and Kobe, and not as negative on either of them as he was others. But I think when it is easy to talk trash about people sitting behind a mic, it is easy to be internet tough. I mean, if you listen to our podcast, we're never really hard on people for their personal life, right? We'll talk stats,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
We'll talk about how they had a bad game.
But you can't call him a bum or a bust for 20 years and think it was okay.
20 years. And, some could say that Michael Jordan should be blamed for his lack of development. People are talking about, well, he was in basketball already. I heard Stephen A. say that.
I'm just going to point out one thing, right?
Go ahead.
I looked at some of those games. I went back and I looked at some of them games.
Yeah.
And I had to pull out this one game.
Yeah.
Just one. I only pulled out one.
Okay.
And it was the Washington Wizards versus the Seattle Supersonics.
Yeah.
Jordan played 38 minutes.
Yeah.
Kwame played 30.
Mm-hmm.
Kwame was 1 for 4.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think Jordan shot that game?
3 for 16. This is the Wizards Jordan.
But I'm just saying
that I like to forget about.
But I'm just saying, this is the Wizards Jordan, right?
The one that doesn't exist in my mind.
He shot 5 for 26.
Yep. So
that just shows you like what mentality Jordan had.
Yeah.
With
at 40. At 40.
At 40.
With Rip Hamilton, Bill Russell, all the old heads. So at the end of the day, we just need to respect people's space, even as sportscasters, because Skip Bayless goes overboard sometimes. Okay, even on our Kevin Durant episode, we didn't go overboard. We kept it all about sports. These guys took it personal, bringing up his family, calling him names. And you just have to be careful in America. We're genuinely too hard on people. Y'all have heard me say that many times. We're genuinely too hard.
People have too many opinions on people that are personal.
Yeah.
And you don't have to make it personal to talk about sports. You know what I mean?
You don't.
You can still talk sports and not be personal.
I mean, that's just like with Kyrie. When Kyrie took his absence, we were tough and we were hard on Kyrie because of what he did to his team. But we also made sure to say Kyrie paid for people's college tuition. He bought George Floyd's family a home. We made sure that we didn't cross that line of stepping too much into personal space.
I don't think I've heard one positive thing about Kwame and what he has done for his community, his family, or any of that.
Yeah. Because as a nation, we tend to be hard on people. I think
everybody took him as not being as good as what they thought he should have been.
Yeah.
And ran with it.
Yeah. Well, I hope that everything works out. I'm glad that he's speaking his truth, but I hope that he can find peace in this, because it's a lot worrying about what people think. It's a lot to worry about what people are saying. That makes your mind wonder. I think we all know from experience.
Especially being a kid coming from not having a lot. That's tough to come to a league and you still get scrutinized.
So keep the personal stuff out of sports. Focus on sports and show people grace. That's normally what I say. Show people grace, because when it's your time to want some grace, you're likely going to say only God can judge me, or
90% of the time they saying that right now. Only God can judge me. I don't care what you say. But,
right.
But everybody isn't you.
Have some grace. This has been another power-packed episode of the 94 Feet Podcast, Ring Chasin. Like, subscribe, comment. Check us out on Spreakers, Google, iHeart Podcasting, Apple, Spotify. Wherever your favorite podcasts are played, we're probably there. Like us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at 94FT Podcast. I will be reporting live tomorrow from the Fiserv Forum for Game 2 of the Milwaukee Bucks Miami Heat on May the 24th. So check us out again. Thanks for listening. 94 Feet Nation, baby.
All right, good people.
Zeke, we'll see you next week, Doc.